Greetings and welcome to another episode of Free Cake. I'm Howard.
And I'm Kwande.
And this week we're talking about The Dark Knight. It's the 10th anniversary. And we just want to talk about what it means to us and the social impact that it had on how it changed kind of like the movie landscape and the superhero landscape and everything like that.
Yeah, he definitely, this movie in particular, The Dark Knight, set the pace for, at least I feel like, for a lot of the movies that have come out recently, because they show not just the happy side or like the mellow side and just dip into the dark side. Like, he definitely took the plunge into the darkness in this movie. And I like that representation of Batman the best because he has that kind of dark background. You know, he watched his parents get murdered and he lives in a city that's riddled with crime. And it was able to illustrate how close he is to the edge of becoming those that he does try and stop.
Yeah, and it was pretty much executed like perfectly in The Dark Knight of showing like how close he is, you know, to it, and then how like he has those checks and balances that maybe like that prevents him from being a bad guy, right? Like he has Alfred, who's like, hey, maybe you're taking this too far. Or like Lucius is like, hey, maybe this is invasion of people's privacy.
Right.
Like you're crossing the line and trying to do the greater good, I guess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that's always been like in the comics and stuff, or even like in the animated series where it's like that duality, but like it was never really portrayed that well in the movies, like even like the Michael Keaton ones, and then Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Like it was never really done well, and then like up until that point, it's like we got the perfect Batman.
Yeah, well, you have Heath Ledger who plays the Joker in it. I think he did a really good job because you watch him in other movies, and you know it's Heath Ledger, but you watch him in The Dark Knight, you can't even really recognize him as Heath Ledger until you know, like. At least for me, like, I was like, that's Heath Ledger right there. I had no idea, you know, and it's the way it's filmed is just kind of dark and like, you know, I think they chose to add the extra bass in his voice for Batman in this one. Yeah. Which I didn't have a problem with, but you have like tons of people who troll it. Yeah. Know? But he's supposed to have like that gravelly voice, you know. Well, you read like Batman Nightfall, he puts the whole suit on and becomes who Batman. He really is. Yeah. So, I like that aspect of it. I mean, there's a whole lot about this film that I like about it, so you'll probably hear me say that a lot. I like that about it. I like this, you know, but...
Yeah, no, it, like, going to that part of it, it was something that was established in Batman Begins, was that, like, when he is Batman, he does have that deeper voice. Like, one, to mask who he is, because people can recognize his voice if he just talk normal. And then two, kind of to be intimidating to, you know, criminals and whatnot. So, like, I never had a problem with the voice. Like, I know a lot of people, like you said, like, troll it and make fun of it and everything else. Especially, like, in the, like, YouTube, like, videos that make fun of it. It's funny, but, like, I still like it, though. Like, I think Christian Bale was a good Batman because he did try to be Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Well, and, like, the only other comparison that I can make that was similar to that would be the animated series. Like if you watch the On Leather Wings episode, where he's talking on the phone in the Batcave to the doctor he sent the analysis for the hair to. He answers the phone as Bruce Wayne. Yeah, and it's kind of funny because they do like a little like Easter egg in there where he's like, "Hey, what's up, Doc?" Yeah, you know, like Looney Tunes because it's Warner Brothers. But I digress on that. He has that like that jolly like rich kid Bruce Wayne voice, and then when he hangs up, he's talking to Alfred, and it's just Batman, just straight Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, like perfect examples. Like when he is talking, he's always talking as Batman, unless he is trying to be Bruce Wayne in like some other scenario. So, like, I think in The Dark Knight, like they did a good job, and just the Nolan trilogy as a whole was like separating the two. Is that, you know, when he's out in public, he is like playboy, you know, carefree attitude. Right. And like, that's not who he really is and never has been. And like, that's that's a mask, you know. He is Batman,
right?
Like that's his life,
Yeah.
you know. And like in this movie, tragically, like you know, Rachel, you know, brings that to life. Like you'll never be Bruce Wayne. Like you're always gonna be Batman. Like there will never be a day where like you won't want to be Batman. That's just who you are now.
When he was willing to give it up, like just okay, the city doesn't need me anymore until the Joker showed up. You know, because he had the whole city scared in the whole movie. Like, oh no, it's dark. I'm going inside, man. I'm not doing that tonight. You know, but then he finds out later on, like, yo, I can't have a real life. Like, I have to be this. I have to be the symbol of hope, the symbol of fear, the protector of my city, especially when Rachel dies. You know, and she wasn't going to choose Bruce in the first place, and he didn't read the letter because Alfred burned it. Yeah. You know, but I also think that with her death, he protected not just Bruce's feelings, but he made it so, like, Batman still has that little bit of hope that he can find somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, too, like, I mean, I guess kind of going into Dark Knight Rises, but going off that tangent was like, you know, that takes place years later, and he never, like you said, like Alfred wanted that hope that like he could still live his life and move on, and then tragically, like going to Dark Knight Rises, he never did. Right. Like he was still hung up on the fact that like he let Rachel die, and that you know they were gonna be together, and you know he wasn't there to protect her. And he's like. Alfred had to tell him like, nah.
I actually burned the letter, man. Here's what it said, like just straight roasted him, but in a formal, polite butler way.
Yeah, like that was never gonna happen. She was gonna take the guy who was normal, you know, who lived a normal life. But yeah, like the lead up to that movie was there was so much hype and anticipation. Like it was. Because, like, Batman Begins was great, and then we were all, but, like, at the end of that movie, he had the calling card where it was, like, just that little Joker card, and, like, everybody just lost their shit in the movie theater.
Yeah,
like,
you knew exactly what was going to happen. And it was cool, because it's kind of like how Batman Year 1 ended, you know? Like, he finds the card and gives it to Batman. Yeah. So him and Gordon, they have already established that relationship and everything. So I liked how they kind of tied that into it, and I, respect Nolan for choosing to kind of bring that part of the lore into the movie.
Yeah, definitely. And like one of the things too, like when they were gonna reboot Batman, I just kind of assumed like, oh, you would just lead with the Joker because that's just like a no-brainer. I guess
I feel like he's probably the biggest villain in comics because I mean, well, at least the DC side, you know, like I mean. You do have Darkseid, but I feel like he's more of like a Superman villain.
Definitely a Superman villain.
And like we're not talking about Marvel, so we don't have to really bring up anybody in that. But I mean, when you hear DC or you hear Batman, you instantly think the Joker. You don't think like Penguin, Riddler, Poison Ivy. You know, like you think Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like in Superman, when they say you're gonna make a Superman movie, you just think Lex Luthor. Like that's just an antithesis of that character. So when they didn't do that, I was like, oh, that's interesting that they're not going to do Joker in the first movie and then have that setup and lead it into the second movie. I was like, oh, this is awesome. It subverted my expectations of what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, when it was able, like you said, they did it so they were able to build the anticipation for the movie with the Joker. And I mean, because I know that if they, sorry, I have something in mind. If they had led with the Joker, I feel like it would have still been a great movie. Yeah. I feel like they still would have done it right, But I also feel like that if they led with the Joker, it wouldn't have such a big significance because it was the first one instead of the second one or sequel. Yeah. And it sucks because, like I feel like this is kind of going off into the Dark Knight Rises, but the part when the criminals take over the city and they have the courthouse and Scarecrow's up on the on the judge's stand or whatever. Yeah. I know that was supposed to be the Joker.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I felt the same way. I was like, this was definitely supposed to be the Joker. Like he was supposed to fulfill this role. Right. Like, yeah. So it kind of sucks that Heath Ledger passed. After filming Dark Knight, and like we didn't get to see him, do other amazing acting jobs, but also fulfill that role. Right. In Batman.
Yeah, and his performance was just so iconic, man. Like I like how. Each time he told someone how he got his scars, it was a different story. So it's
Yeah.
consistent with like his psychosis and the fact that he's so twisted in the head and he doesn't care what he says to somebody as long as he can do whatever he feels like doing. Same with like back to Batman the Animated Series. You watch the Mad Love episode, and him and Harley are talking in his room, and he's telling her the story of his abusive dad. When we went to the circus, and then you have Batman tied up above the tank, where there's the piranhas and everything, and he's like, "Oh, let me guess. He told you this story about the ice show when he was 7." She's like, "It was the circus." He's like, "He's got a million of them, man." But I liked how they were able to tie that in because. I mean, like, me and you, we have a deep history and relationship with Batman. So whenever it's something small like that, or they're able to put, like, intricate details that only people who know the ins and outs of Batman, like, I don't know everything there is to know about Batman. I haven't read every comic, but I'm definitely a loyal fan. You know, so, like, when we put stuff like that in there, it makes it so it's like, oh, okay, I'm buying this movie when it comes out, you know?
Yeah, and going back to that, like, when they cast Heath Ledger, everybody's like, Heath Ledger? Why did they cast this guy? And then it turned out to be, like, one of the greatest performances ever. Hands down, the best Joker. Like, a lot of people were like, is it going to be better than Jack Nicholson? Because Jack Nicholson was great in the role.
He did a really good job.
And so now, that's, like, it was the only well, I guess we had the old 60s Batman.
Where he had the mustache in his makeup. He wasn't even, I'm not shaving this. I'm not shaving it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess we had that, but, like, other than that, Jack Nicholson was the only, like, performance we had to base it off of, and it was a great one, so it was already a high bar. So, when he came in, people were really skeptical, but, like, they just did such a great job. Like, I remember when they released the first photo, and it was just the face of Joker, and he had the scars going up the side of his mouth, and I was just like, oh my god. Like, this is such a dark, twisted take, and I can't wait to see, like, what the performance is going to be like.
Well, and the whole mystery aspect of the Joker was pretty awesome, too, because I mean, I haven't read the New 52, where you find out, like, his origin story or anything. I kind of like it better not knowing who he is, because you have that whole mystery aspect of some guy who's famous because of all the bad things he's done rather than who he used to be. And even in The Laughing Joke. Is it called Laughing? The Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke.
I totally messed that up. The Killing Joke. You know, you don't know who he is, but you kind of learn, like, about him. Yeah, he's trying to be a comedian. He has a wife that's pregnant, and then he just, all those events kind of domino affected him becoming insane, but you still don't know who he is. And so, with him getting the scars and not having consistent stories, it makes you wonder, like, did he do this to himself? You know, like, did he hit a point where he just couldn't take it anymore and he's like, I just need to smile or whatever, and do that to himself? Or, like, what made him want to have the makeup on his face? Or, you know, the fact that he had a crazy plan to rob a bank. He didn't even want any of the money. And he killed everybody that worked with him. It's just like, what the, like, he's such an intelligent villain, and he's so mysterious, and I think Heath Ledger nailed it. Like, I mean, the only other Joker you could compare him to would be Jack Nicholson for one, and then two, Mark Hamill in the animated series. The
only problem with the Jack Nicholson Joker was that, like, they did set it up, like, he was this gangster who worked for, like, a mob guy, and, like, he had a girlfriend, whatever, and you see him get dropped in the acid and become the Joker. So, like, you knew who he was and his personality beforehand. It's not like he just came out of nowhere, like in A Dark Knight, where, like, he just came out of nowhere. And just started messing stuff up and, like, disrupting everything. And, like, and even, like, in the New 52, like, I started reading some of those comics, and even then, where they try to explain, like, his backstory, they leave it ambiguous where it's like, is this true, or is he just trolling Batman to make Batman think, like, this is who he is, and, like, he's just kind of been around for a long period of time? Like, it's still, like, not like, maybe this is real, maybe it's not. Like,
well, like, I haven't read this comic, you know, so back to his identity, it's just the fact that, like, no one really knows who he is. So, like, there's a strip that I've read where it's Alfred looking in the mirror. I'm sure you've seen it. He's looking in the mirror, and then it says something about, like, you know, he loves Bruce Wayne so much that he has to help him live out this fantasy. You know, to summarize it, or condense it. But he dresses himself up as the Joker.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting because it's like, well, if he beats you up and throws you in Arkham, how does that even work?
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought that was really interesting because, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You only know what you see. So, like on the cartoons, you think you're rooting for Batman. Or, you have the episodes or the comics where he's just in the asylum and he's wearing this outfit and having these visions because of his childhood trauma and stuff like that. So, it's like, you don't truly know what's going on except for what's presented to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So that aspect of the film was also awesome. And to see, like, to even go off on, like, the side villains, like, you have Harvey Dent. You watch his creation. That was a pretty intense. I mean, it was really similar to the animated series if you think about it, minus the electricity. I mean, he still got blown up and had his face was messed up. Yeah. Which that had to be so painful watching like that. Like your whole jaw is out. I could see your teeth.
Yeah. That was like the best, like, because I was wondering, like, how are they gonna do a live action Two-Face, because the only one we had was Batman Forever with Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
You had like the purple, the half purple
no
face.
Ear. Like he was a wrestler, just molded to his head.
Exactly. So I was like, how are they gonna do this? Like, and the way they did it was like in line with the Joker. Like, it was so dark and twisted and gruesome, and it was awesome because like it fit like how it should be, like, or how you would imagine it, and like. And he was like an underrated part of the movie, I feel like. Because I think to see that break was so tragic. For him to be Harvey Dent, like the hero that everybody looked up to, and like what like Gotham needed, and to see him devolve after that, to see that psychotic break happen because of Rachel dying, and how that affected him, and like, he's like, why should I play by everybody else's rules?
Right.
Nobody else is playing by these rules, so I'm just going to be like everybody else now. And you see, like, he already had a little bit of that to begin with.
Yeah, like, he was able to... I mean, he brought it out when he needed to, and sometimes it would just come out,
Yeah.
Like he would just lash out, and I feel like it's a... There's a word... What's it called? It's like... Dissociative personality disorder.
Yeah.
So like he was able to be one person one moment when he's professional and everything. But when stuff doesn't go his way, he becomes the Two-Face that we all know and love.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I thought that was really interesting because people actually do suffer from that, and so to see it like put in the light before. Like all these series come out on Netflix and other streaming services about stuff like that.
Yeah. It
was really interesting. Like the fact that someone can be. I mean, everybody has to put on a face every now and then.
Yeah.
Like if we're dealing with people at work or whatever, we have to put on like a professional face, even if they're being complete assholes.
Yeah.
But the fact that someone can be like, okay, I'm being professional, but if I'm dealing with the criminals, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty extreme. That's an extreme jump. Like, you work for the law, but you're willing to kill somebody because they're not giving you the information.
Yeah,
they're not going to vote for you.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, he has like these two personalities, where like one kind of consumes him. So like even in other like mediums, like the Arkham series games, where like that's the thing where like he is like Harvey. And there's still bits and pieces of Harvey there, like, and then there's the other parts too, where like he just becomes Two-Face, and he's like goes to these extremes. Like, did you ever read what is it called, The Long Halloween?
No, but that one looks good. I'm gonna have to get that one.
It's so good. It's like there's that, and there's a sequel called Dark Victory, and they're two graphic novels, and it tells the story of like. Batman, like he's still like in the early days, and there's somebody who's committing crimes on the who's like on different like holidays and stuff, and so Batman's like trying to figure it out, and it introduces the like dynamic between Batman, Commissioner Gordon, and Harvey Dent, and there's a lot of focus on Harvey actually, and just like him and how he is like this. wants to do everything he can to bring people to justice, and then it also shows him in a light of where like he can't do everything with the parameters of the law, so sometimes he goes outside of the law, and it's a really good like story, and it shows his duality before he becomes, because the whole story takes place before he becomes Two-Face, and so it's really good in showing like how he really wants to do everything he can with inside the law, and then some people escape it, like Falcone and Maroni and all these guys.
Yeah, they pay off people, or they have connections inside the Justice Department or the Police Department.
Yeah, and so like that really like kind of just drives him over the edge. And so like when he does in the comic books, when he gets the acid thrown in his face, it really does become a psychotic break. And he's like, well, now I don't have to obey the laws, and now I can just do whatever I want. And so, you know, in the movie they have like a more condensed version of that, with him trying to take down Maroni, and how Maroni just gets off, you know, because their witness just changes his testimony on the fly. And so they have a condensed version of that, and I think his storyline is underrated, and how good he is as Two-Face is underrated.
Right. Well, and he's, like you said, he's one of the key villains, I feel like, in Batman's section of the DC universe. Yeah. Especially in the game. You know, you see him talking to himself. Yeah. You know, he's sitting there having an argument with Catwoman.
Yeah, exactly.
While she's hung over a vat of acid, the same one that he probably got his face burned with. Yeah. And he's like, so what do we do with her? We should kill her. Then they'll show us respect in the town, you know? Yeah. Like, shoot, dude. Like, you really are crazy, you know? And in the movie, they actually have the nickname Two-Face, or I think Harvey Two-Face.
Yeah, they call him Harvey. Yeah, Harvey Two-Face. So, yeah.
But nobody will admit it to him until after his face is messed up.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, and it's just that they did it so well with just like, you know, setting up his. What I feel like some of the modern DC movies have been lacking is just like the character development, right? Even in this one movie, like they set up Harvey and how he is the White Knight for Gotham, and how he is in love with Rachel and he wants to do everything, and then they do such a good job of like paying off his character of like, this is who he is in the beginning. And then they have that incident in the middle of the parade where they shoot the commissioner, and then how he's like going to kill that guy for information. And it's like, this is kind of how he is. Like, this is what's bubbling underneath. And then you have the third act, which is the psychotic break. Like, everything went to shit, and now he's just completely off the rails. Right. And like all the other movies, like Batman v Superman and Justice League, you know, lack that kind of
it's kind of just like
character development,
like a rushed version of like, this is his character. I hope you guys know everything about her because we're just gonna keep filming the movie. Yeah, you know? Like, I feel like that's kind of is. I mean, I get it. You only have a certain amount of time to do that. Yeah, but like with the Justice League movie, I wish they would have waited until they had more people in the Justice League. Yeah, you know, like you should have came out with the Flash movie first or Aquaman's movie. Yeah. Wonder Woman's movie came out before that, so that's fine. And Superman's did too. Yeah. But I feel like it wasn't enough.
Yeah, like there wasn't enough, like Batman's barely established. Like, you have Batman v Superman, and you have this weird, contorted version of Batman. It's like, you know, like you kind of owe it to be like, well, this is how Batman got to be like this. Because we just jump into this new universe, and he's just off killing people. Right. So it's like,
marking him with his little brand and everything.
So it's like it would have been nice like to have some more character development, but like I digress. they did a good job with that, and they did a good job with it's odd, or it's rare to have a movie where everybody gets their due, right? Right. Like Dark Knight is, you know, everybody knows it as a Batman movie, and I guess Joker too, because it was such an iconic performance, but it was really an ensemble. Like I feel like everybody got their piece. Like Harvey got his piece to be like great. You know, Alfred got his portion to be great. Commissioner Gordon got his chance to be great. Like everybody got a piece of the pie, and it all felt earned and deserved. You know, like it wasn't felt like anybody got shafted in the movie.
Yeah, and they took it at such a good pace, and you know, you already have the established relationship with Batman and Alfred, with Batman and Lucius. Yeah. You know, the kind of weird awkwardness between Bruce Wayne and Rachel.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like that was cool because we didn't really have to spell any of that out for anybody. But with introducing, that was weird. With introducing new characters,
yeah,
I feel like that's always a challenge to try and nail it. You know, like you have to be able to be like, okay, here's this guy, here's his motivation.
Yeah.
You know, but they, like you said, they portrayed it in such a great way that I really have no complaints for the movie.
Yeah.
Especially the end, close to the end scene, where Two-Face has Jim Gordon and his family on the dock or the deck or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, they're in like an abandoned building or something. Yeah,
and he's sitting there like, you get to choose which one of them gets to die. You know, like I feel like that was a really powerful scene because there hasn't been a scene like that for me except for in year one.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just feel the tension like, dude, Batman's like all the way at the docks fighting the Joker. Like, what are we going to do? Like, somebody's going to die, you know? Because you don't really hear about his son.
No.
You know, but you hear about Barbara.
Yeah.
So I was like, I bet you his son's going to die.
Yeah. Well, to go off on a tangent a little bit, there's a great comic book that kind of establishes that. Because you're right, like, he has a son in year one, and then we never hear about his son.
Right.
So, like, in the comic books, there's a story where, like, his son became, like, a serial killer, and he's in Gotham, like, killing people.
That's crazy.
And then he's, like, kind of, like, stalking and taunting Jim Gordon. It's like, where were you? Like, why did you just abandon me?
Yeah.
And, like, all this stuff. It's really interesting. But, like, yeah, that's another really underrated scene, is that he has to choose between his family, and everybody's, like, great in that scene because he's like, you know, and before that he's like, go to where my family died, talking about where Rachel was blown to pieces.
Which is weird because it's like, dude, you were dating her for a little bit. I don't think you guys are on the family level yet.
Yeah, you weren't there yet.
You almost proposed.
Maybe if we were better boyfriends, she'd still be alive.
Right, yeah, you shouldn't have waited that long, man.
Yeah.
Social security, or no, social, what is it? Just security.
Yeah.
Following you everywhere.
Oh, Secret Service.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. The double S word. That's it right there.
Like, and then, like, in that scene where, like, he's like, well, pick, like, who do you love more? And he's waving a gun around and, like, everything. And it's like, and just based off Gordon's reaction, like, when he gets to his son, it's just based off his reaction. He's like, oh, ding, 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 I think we have a winner. And I was like, that's just such a great, awesome, tense scene.
Who even tells him, lie to him? Lie like I had to lie to Rachel. Everything's going to be okay. I was like, dude, this is messed up.
It was so messed up. Yeah, like, the movie is so good. Like, that scene is so good. Like, it doesn't get enough attention that the other scenes get, you know? But, yeah, that was an awesome scene. And then I also really liked the introduction of the Joker. I mean, everybody loves that scene, but, like, or I guess not even the introduction because we had the bank robbery, but the scene, the next time we see him where he's talking to the mob bosses, and he just, you know, we have the magic trick, and he's like, everybody's like, well, what would you do? And he's like, well, it's easy. We just kill him. Right. And they're like, well, why haven't you done it? He's like, well, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah, that's funny because that's one of the quotes I try and live by.
Yeah.
You know, like, I want to get so good at something that I don't do it for free.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, the fact that he just wrote, like, any other person, like, it was me and you in the Gotham, I would not be going in that meeting. Because I know, like, I'd probably be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But he goes in, just starts talking all this shit to him. Like, hey, and about the suit, it wasn't cheap. Like, you should know because you bought it.
Yeah.
You know, like, that, I don't know, just for him to have those kind of balls on him to just go in.
Yeah.
And he's that type of guy, you know, like, he doesn't care. He's like, if I die today, whatever, so be it. You know, I just want to see the world crumble into madness because why not?
Yeah. And that's his whole thing, right? It's just like, he's just, I mean, I guess they say in the movie, like, he's just a dog chasing his tail. Like, he doesn't care what happens. He just is out there living by the moment. So he just wants to have fun. And, like, Batman is the most fun, right? To have. Like, it's that back and forth, like, game that they're playing. And he doesn't care about money or jewels or anything. Like, he just wants to see everything burned to the ground.
Right.
Like, and they did such a good job of writing that and how Heath Ledger portrayed it, and and just how screwed up he is, you know, like it was all just like it was really well done, and like you have that scene in the middle with him and Batman and the interrogation. It's just like it's so good, like just like one of the best scenes in film, period.
Right.
Like they have that interrogation, and Joker is just telling him like, they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, like, they don't care. They like you right now, but what's gonna happen when you mess up or you don't say the right person or something?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
And it's like, to you, we're the same. Like they're just using you. It's a difference. And then when Batman just starts beating the shit out of him, and he's just laughing and like, it's like I don't care. Like you can just beat the crap out of me and it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like it's such a great scene.
Well, and like it almost makes you like a lot of the people in the movie. It makes you wonder. Would he exist if you weren't around? Like, would the Joker be here if you didn't show up in Gotham?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because they're synonymous. I feel like one can't exist without the other. I mean, you watch or you read The Dark Knight Returns Part 2.
Yeah.
And Joker's in this rehab center with Two-Face and all the other villains. And he's just like a vegetable.
Yeah.
Until they say Batman came back. And they keep saying it on the TV over and over again. And then he comes back to life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't ever wonder that because I know that, I mean, it could have been Batman. Bruce Wayne could have ended up being the Joker because of what he saw when he was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And the Joker could have taken whatever tragedy had fallen upon him and turned into Batman.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're just so close, like they're right on the fringe of each other, where that line lies between good and evil, is one of the main reasons why I like the Joker so much.
Yeah, and like you're saying, like Batman is the catalyst, or depending on how you interpret it, like Batman is the villain of his own story, right? Like if he didn't exist, you wouldn't have the Joker, or you wouldn't have Two-Face, or you wouldn't have all these things because Batman is the starting point. Like even in Begins, they talk about the escalation. Like if we wear armor vests, they get armor-piercing rounds. Like we have you, and now we have the Joker. Like is it too much? Are you the reason why we're having to go through this? And you can say that about a bunch of different villains or characters. Like same with Spider-Man. Like with Spider-Man, like you have Green Goblin and Venom and all these people. Or Superman, you have Darkseid and Zod. Like if this hero did not exist, would we like be free of all this like death and carnage?
Yeah, and I feel like it's on a different level. I mean, because if you look into the real world, which is kind of boring.
Yeah.
You have just people harming people or a crime being committed against other people. But it's like, well, if we didn't have, and I'm not trying to be like a communist or socialist. I don't really care about politics. I just hope that everybody does right eventually.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have people who are up here and then we have people that are below this line here.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, if we didn't have poverty, if we didn't have drug use or creation or anything like that, if we didn't have, corrupt government officials or, and I'm not saying anybody is. I'm just saying like if these variables weren't in place, would we have the crimes being committed that are being committed?
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting fact, or it's not fact, subject to talk about.
Yeah.
But I'm weird, so I think about stuff like that. But you can tie it to the world in this way. So it makes sense, like why people would be like, speculate whether or not his existence had brought upon these villains and the crimes they've committed.
Yeah, and then like Batman has a huge pop cultural significance in the world, right? The first superhero ever created was Superman. Second superhero ever created was Batman. And so like he's been around for a long time and been through a lot of iterations, and with a lot of stories, which I think has impacted society and a lot of different superheroes. Like I think without Batman, like you probably don't have grittier superheroes like Daredevil or the Punisher or even Spawn. Maybe like I just feel like he's he's so important that like, and he's gave way to all these different types of superheroes and like sort of this dark, gritty portion of the universe. Because like we had other heroes, like you had Superman, you have Captain America, you have bright, colorful superheroes, but not one that's like dark and gritty and like not afraid to break legs and like kind of go outside of the law and like kind of be like, I'll do anything to get the job done. And I think that's kind of the problem with DCEU, right? With Batman v Superman and some of the other stuff is that they saw what Nolan did and was like, how can we take that and like make it more extreme?
Push it a little bit farther.
Yeah, like why did they kind of went too far with it? You know?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, you know, like Batman's killed people in accident. He's done it on purpose, but he doesn't have like this hit list of people that he wants to just take out. You know, so I agree with you on that. Like, I don't think he should be that type of Batman. I think he needs to be the Batman like, yo, did you hear what he did to this guy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sleep tonight. I'm not doing nothing tonight. I'll do everything in the daytime.
Yeah.
You know, like he's supposed to be that. He's supposed to be a symbol of hope, protection, and fear. You know, like, and I feel like that whole yellow around his emblem is because he should belong to the Yellow Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
You know, like he's the master of fear, more than Sinestro is.
Exactly.
You bring up his name and criminals instantly are like, I'm not messing with him.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he wasn't so scary in this series, but he was able to bring that aspect of fear to the people he faced, except for the Joker and except for Two-Face, because every one of his villains sees something in him that they see in themselves.
Exactly. He wasn't using like so much like fearful, but it was just kind of like in the beginning of The Dark Knight, where they see the symbol and like they're trying to make that drug deal happen, and he's like, "Nah, man, not tonight."
Yeah.
You know, like he's just a myth. It's just a superstition. It's like, no,
he's real. I saw him.
Yeah, and then also there's that other scene where he goes into the club and he picks up Maroni. He's taking him outside, and he's like, "This fall isn't gonna kill me." He's like, I'm counting on it. Yeah. And he just lets go, and he just snap.
You hear him pop and everything.
Yeah.
I would be scared after that. I'd be like, oh, shoot, man. It's probably killing me. Like, and even, like, you go to the comics again, you know, like, in The Dark Knight Returns, I mean, you probably have stories of him killing people or people talking about him killing people, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't. He takes them out and like makes them pay the price with their limbs, you know. And there's one part where he's chasing just some guy with a gun. I think a couple people.
Yeah.
And this rookie cop comes in and he's like, freeze. He's like, just whatever. Like he doesn't even pay attention to him. Yeah. He's like, you just broke that guy's leg. He's like, he's young. He'll walk again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the fact that he's just. Like, he's so confident in what he does. He doesn't ever question it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not used to seeing Batman have a weakness unless it's, like, he's trying to figure out how to defeat somebody.
Yeah.
Or, you know, he is just completely outmatched. Or, you know, he has a love interest that he can't seem to wrap his heart around or his situation around. But I feel like there's a lot of missing pieces with the whole Batman vs Superman aspect of it, and I don't know, man. I just feel like they kind of did them dirty on it, you know?
Yeah, no, they definitely did, and that's one of the things where I feel like this is probably where like the success of the Nolan films in The Dark Knight had a negative impact, right? Because I feel like Warner Brothers and DC saw the success that they had with Nolan. And because Nolan's version was so dark and so gritty, that they're like, oh, well, that must be the formula of success. And they applied that to Superman and the Justice League, and characters were like, that doesn't work. Like, they took Superman and made him dark. They took Batman and made him even darker.
Right.
And then, you know, tried to apply that to other characters. And it's like, it is not a one-size-fits-all.
Right. Like,
Superman can't be dark and broody.
Yeah, even if Lois did just die, which is why I hate the Superman in Earth 2 on Injustice. It's like, dude, that's not Superman. Like, but it's also a different universe or a different Earth, you know. So it's like, I understand that, but I still don't like that Superman.
Yeah,
because that's not Superman. You
yeah,
know?
exactly. And so, like in Man of Steel, he's like dark and brooding, and like he just doesn't feel like Superman. Like he's always supposed to have hope, even at the end of the day. Like even if there's like nuclear holocaust, like Superman's supposed to be like, oh, I'm hopeful and optimistic.
Right. Yeah,
You know?
he's the optimist and Batman is a realist.
Yeah,
you know?
but like they try to take the Batman template and apply it to Superman, and it's like, well, that doesn't make sense because that's not who Clark is, and that's not who Superman is. And
yeah, the mold broke when you created those two characters.
Yeah,
you know, like they are who they are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you have like a rich tapestry of like who these characters are, and what Nolan did with Batman is like it was perfect for Batman. Like that's what Batman needed, and it worked too because Batman has this history of being like a more grounded superhero. Like if you go back to year one, like he's just fighting punks and like trying to stop the mob because like at that time that's all that existed.
Right.
Like that was a crime that he dealt with, and it was so it made more sense for him to be a more gritty superhero, and you took the wrong lessons.
yeah. Like I don't know. Like it's one thing to try and be original and introduce a new aspect of a character, but with the old saying, man, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
you know, like, there was nothing they had to fix about Batman. There wasn't anything that they should have added. I feel like they should have just let it be. You know, like you have a new actor who looks like Bruce Wayne from the animated series.
He does.
You don't need to change anything. Just leave it where it's at. You know? But a lesson learned, I guess. I hope.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Because I mean, if they do a film with Deathstroke in it, that would be really sick.
Yeah, no, I think that would be really dope. So I feel like if there's one portion like the Nolan films can be improved upon, which I think this is probably the only portion where like Batman v Superman and like Justice League are better, is just like is the fight choreography. Like the Batman fight in Batman v Superman is so dope. Yeah, and it's like I want to see more of that.
yeah. Well, just because like how it was orchestrated, like you said, you know, he vaporized the kryptonite. You know, you saw him kind of snap out of it when it wore out because of his metabolism or the power he gets from the sun. Yeah, you know, and just the whole like intensity of it, the fact that he had him on the ground ready to stab him with that spear with the kryptonite blade on the top of it, like. The whole aspect, even, I mean, it doesn't even have to be that scene. Like, when he goes and saves Superman's mom, and he's just whooping everybody. I was like, dude, they took this straight from the Arkham games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, this is straight Arkham, like, because he rips the floor from underneath him, and he goes up and he throws the little devices on their guns, so like they can't use them, and then he just starts whooping everybody's ass.
Takes the box and grapples it. Hits the dude with it, and then protects his mom with the cape. Like that was pretty cool, you know. Like so, I don't have. I mean, the only issues I have with that movie are just like the fact that it's a little bit dark for both characters. Yeah, but I mean, like the fighting aspect is awesome, you know, and I wish that they had more orchestrated fights. I think they kind of started to get it at The Dark Knight Rises with him and Bane. That fight had no music. It was just all sound effects and dialogue. You know? So that, I mean, you could almost feel it when he was, when he was getting whooped.
Definitely. You know? That was a great thing in Dark Knight Rises because the fact that they had no music and it was just Bane just like beating the shit out of him. More or less was so intense. And like Batman v Superman continues or improves upon, I feel like, the fight choreography and like, you know, like you said, rips it straight out of the Arkham games. And, like, I want to see more of that and more of like Batman kind of just being Batman. Right.
Well, and like going back to, you know, the Dark Knight kind of setting the pace for everything, even to the games, you know, like Epic, it was Epic, right? Epic and Unreal Engine. It was Unreal, I think.
It was Unreal Engine.
Unreal Engine. So, I mean, they did a really good job. Like, even from the first one, because you go back and play the first one now, it's kind of weak compared to Arkham Knight. Yeah. But the fact that they were, like, when that game came out, I watched the trailer every day until the game came out. And I watched the new trailer every day until it came out, you know. But the fact that you're able to be Batman and you see, like, how he reacts to this environment how he's kind of established himself as a hero. Like he's, oh, I can't do this. Maybe I have to go this way, or like I know the formula for this. Like he's such an intelligent hero, and I wish they would have showed that a little bit more in the movie. Yeah. But they took the pieces from the movie and applied it to the game the way they made it. Yeah. Improved on the combat aspect for sure. Yeah. But they gave you history also, so you were able to learn about the game. And I feel like that the game would not have been that good. I mean, it still would have been good, but it wouldn't have been as good as it was if that movie had not come out.
Yeah, I agree. Like they took, like you said, elements from the movies, and like, especially like I feel if it wasn't for the movies, like the Nolan trilogy, and using Lucius Fox, like Lucius Fox would have never been in the game. Right. Like he would even be a character that people know about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you watch the animated series.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Even then, he's not.
He's only in it like a couple episodes.
Yeah, and he doesn't help Batman.
Yeah, he's just like he just runs Wayne Enterprises. He's like not involved with Batman like he is in the movie. So it's like because of that, like we got like a great character and a character that's like more prominent and widely used now. So like I hope that like they take more lessons from Nolan and like what he did, and like especially like with like the cinematography and everything. Like those movies were so like beautifully shot. Like I don't think I've seen another superhero movie that I think Batman v Superman is close because I think that's a really pretty movie as well. Right. But like to me, none of the Marvel movies even come close. Yeah. Or any other superhero movie for that matter comes close to matching like how well that movie was shot.
We have like the aerial shots. You have the close-ups, the kind of like the pans and everything. I think it's just like not. I don't want to say filter that they applied to it, but like the kind of like the temperature of how they filmed it. Yeah. So that played a huge part in it because there's some scenes where you just see his face, like just the bottom. Yeah, and you can kind of see his cape, and you're like, "Is that his cape?" I don't know, man. And just the whole, I feel like this movie brought a whole new audience along with loyal fans to Batman, and to be like, "Yeah, Batman's the shit," because like back to the games, the Joker is the main villain in all three games. You have everybody who was the Joker for Halloween that year after the movie came out. Everybody was the Joker.
Yeah, they had that funny Office bit where everybody shows up as the Joker.
It was Dwight going into the elevator. Yeah. Was it Kevin too?
Yeah, it was Kevin. I want to say it was Michael and Creed.
Yeah, I think it was Creed. Creed, yeah. Yeah. that was true to real life, though, man, because that year, there was so many Jokers. And it's like, well, if you don't have the long hair, we could just give you this mask with the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it doesn't work like that, man. Yeah. They definitely roped in, loyal fans and they made a bunch of new fans with the movie, too. Yeah. So I have respect for that. Because anything that you can bring new people in and kind of share that experience with them and then have something to talk about with them that you're able to relate to is a great experience.
Yeah, and another thing too is that like superhero movies had success, right? So we had like 3 X-Men movies, 3 Spider-Man movies, and Batman Begins. And so they had success, like they were making money in the stream. But like I feel like this was the first, because I'm pretty sure this is the first one to hit $1 billion. Yeah, and like so was that much mainstream success? You're right. It brought in a huge new audiences, not just to like Batman, but just to the superhero genre in general. Like I think, because the same year we had Iron Man too. So like we had that. You had Iron Man. It was successful, but then you had a massive success in The Dark Knight, and then going forward, that just boosted the whole superhero genre, right? Like everybody was like, "Oh man, we need to get out a superhero movie, like 2 or 3 superhero movies a year." So it's like it had a huge impact, just not on like superheroes, but like the film genre or film industry in the whole, because like now we're getting so many superhero movies, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, and it made it so like it's not just what's considered geeks or nerds that are interested in it. You know, like it's cool to actually go see a movie with a superhero in it, or it's cool to have a collection of comics or pop-up books or graphic novels. You know, like that's part of our pop culture, or just the era that we're in right now. It's a huge part of it. You know, because you can go watch a movie and you can be like, oh, okay, cool, like this is awesome. I learned about these characters today from watching this movie. But you could also be like, you know what, this is really cool. Yeah, I want to read up on the characters and get a deeper education of the history of it. You know, I don't think there's really, I mean, at least for like movies that are based off of books, there's really no other form of entertainment that encourages people to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you go see a movie with a superhero character, you get to see like, oh, I really enjoyed this. I want to know more. Or like when you go and like, say like you really enjoyed The Dark Knight, and you go back and you see all the Easter eggs, right? Right. And you're like, oh, all these Easter eggs, but you don't have like a reference for it, and you're like, that's super interesting. Now I want to go back and see and read about all these different characters, because like, yeah, if you go to Batman Begins, you have Victor Zsasz, but you don't know why he has the scars on him, right? Yeah. So, like, now you know, like, oh, this is a really messed up guy.
Yeah, he's got a fetish, man. Yeah. That's so weird. Exactly. Yeah, number 362. No, dude, don't do that. That's disgusting. You even watched that knife?
Yeah. It's got, like, it's just all rusted out because of blood. He never cleans it off.
I'm sharpening it tonight. It's fine. It'll heat up by itself.
But yeah, it's like, it has such a huge impact that, like, I mean, like, I think Marvel would be successful regardless, because Iron Man was such a great movie. Right. But I definitely think the success of The Dark Knight helped subsequent movies. Sort of like, oh, you know, we brought superheroes into the mainstream for like, so that like your grandma will want to go see a superhero movie now. So
she'll probably ask you a million questions about
it. Yeah, they're like, why is he so angry?
It's just how he is, grandma. I don't know what to tell you. How's he able to fly like that? It's not real, grandma. They use a computer. Well, what's a computer? Like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, so any like, I mean, so we established that obviously Dark Knight's a great movie. Is there any like, I guess, so I think Dark Knight is probably the best film, superhero film, and probably just like a great film in general. Right. But with that being said, is it like your favorite Batman film?
So are we talking like live action? Or are we talking
any one?
I don't know, dude, because it's definitely up there. Like it's in the top 5 or 6. Yeah. Like it's definitely one to be like, you know, like when I have kids, I'm gonna show them, you know, this movie is the business, you know, like. But I don't know if it's my favorite Batman film. Though. I mean, because it's hard to choose one. Like I'm not gonna say like Batman Forever or the one after that or whatever. Yeah. Was my favorite, or Batman and Robin. Like they're funny. Yeah. You know? Like you can watch those and have a good laugh.
Yeah, you definitely can have a good laugh.
The story's cool, but it's kind of comical. Yeah. But as for like my favorite, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, it's definitely up there. I mean, I have a lot of the animated ones I really like. Even like the ones where they're introduced as like cameos or like supporting characters. Like Justice League Doom, he's the main character in it.
Yeah, Justice League Doom is great.
That one's really good. Flashpoint Paradox is really good because his dad plays a big role in that. Yeah. You know, and I mean, I don't know. I still like The Dark Knight Returns is really good, and
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, that one's really good. So, and like, I mean, we can't really say series because that's not necessarily a film or a movie. But Mask of the Phantasm is really good also. Yeah. So I mean, it's hard for me to say that that's my favorite. As far as like live action goes, though, it would probably be my favorite live action Batman movie.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I would agree. I would say that hands down, live action is the best for sure. I used to think, well, I guess my favorite used to kind of be Batman Begins because I had a lot of nostalgia around it, and I was like, it was the first Batman movie in like a long time.
Yeah, because before that it was George Clooney Batman, right?
Yeah, that was George Clooney and Batnips.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze in 4 minutes. Like there's a YouTube video of just it's literally like 4 or 5 minutes of him just making ice puns.
Yeah, he's like, freeze, everybody chill.
Yeah. But
having
like
an ice day.
Yeah. It's so funny. But like yeah, that was the last one we had, and so like when I saw Batman Begins, like it was so great to see like to see Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow and like the dark and grittiness of it, like all that stuff, like just flooded me with like emotions. So like I really enjoyed that. But yeah, like I think Dark Knight is definitely better. It's probably my favorite. But like yeah, like you're saying, if you go into the animated stuff, there's so many great stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And like Mask of the Phantasm might be my favorite Batman movie.
Because that one came out in theaters, didn't it? Or
yeah.
I feel like it came out in theaters.
No, it came out in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, yeah, man, I mean, they hyped that up. Like, the first movie from an animated series. Like, you know, you got that guy with the iconic voice announcing it and everything. And that was probably, like, the first time I ever saw Batman struggle with a love interest, you know? And the Joker played a huge part in that. Because it wasn't just the Joker with Batman. It was the Joker with Andrea Beaumont.
Yeah.
And the fact that he ruined her life, you know? Or, like, the gang he was in ruined her life.
Yeah. And I think, too, like, I feel like The Dark Knight, I don't know how much, because there's so much Batman lore, but, like, I don't know how much The Dark Knight pulled from it, but it seems like there's some stuff, like, they could have pulled from, because, like, especially with Andrea Beaumont, it's, like, that whole, like, love relationship, but, like, they can't be together type of thing, like, it feels very similar to Bruce and Rachel in The Dark Knight.
Well, it's like they love each other, but they have to keep their distance from each other. Yeah. Which kind of sucks, you know? Because you realize, like, oh, dude, he'll never be able to live a normal life, you know? And then you have this woman who's like, I want to be with you, but you got to be Batman.
Exactly.
You know? And he even, like, the fact that he even, like, begs his parents at their graves, you know? Like, I can't do this anymore. You know?
That's so good. Like, and I feel like it does a good job of him being Bruce Wayne and him being Batman, and like showing the two parts. And I feel like they kind of, it seems like it could have inspired The Dark Knight a little bit because like they deal with the same thing of like him trying to be Bruce Wayne and like eventually wanting to lead a normal life, and that's what Bruce wants to do in Mask of the Phantasm. Is he didn't expect to meet Andrea and be happy, and that's the same thing. Like he met Rachel and he wants to be happy, but in both cases, because of tragic circumstances, it couldn't happen.
Right. Well, and like you said, I mean, it definitely seems like they drew a lot from previous iterations of Batman. Yeah. You know, like you have the whole Two-Face origin story. You have just the appearance of the Joker. Yeah. His relationship with Alfred and everything. That's one thing I really like about Nolan and the way he did his film is he knew, okay, I know these characters. I know that they're tied to these people. I'm not going to try and, like, sever the ties anyway. I'm not going to try and tangle them to something else. Yeah. I'm going to keep it consistent, but introduce new elements. And I thought that was really awesome because it's hard for some people to make a movie and not want to put their own spin on it. You know, like maybe this time the Joker one's like, that happens, sure. But you got to execute it right.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't he just kills everybody, and that's the movie. You know, that's kind of lame, you know. Yeah. But I think he was definitely inspired, or the people who worked on the film, were definitely inspired by previous iterations of Batman for sure.
Yeah, and I think for me, like I think the whole trilogy as a whole is almost close to perfect. Like I know, like Dark Knight Rises is definitely like the most divisive one. And
I wish that he would have been from Spain.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. I wish that he would have been from Spain as well. Like, I wish they kind of would have just kept Bane's origin intact. Like, and it could have, but they didn't explain it. Right. Like, he could have been serving out his dad's sentence and all that stuff. But like, I really like that movie, and I still think it's a great
Oh yeah, dude! You turn on the soundtrack, like even watching the trailer. Dude, I watch the trailer just for the music, and I don't know. I think you could search it on YouTube. It's like Nokia, if you want to say it that way. But it's that trailer, and like it's playing the song where they're in the plane, but it has more bass and it has like the underlying violin and the strings in it. You know? And I'll have to show it to you. Yeah, but it's that like I would play that trailer just for the music. Like I would pull it up. Oh, there's a 30-minute loop. I'll just play it. Like you know, like, that the music in that is just so motivating. Like especially seeing like, and I know Tom Hardy's not like this huge dude. Yeah, you know, but
like he gained a lot of muscle for that role. Though,
and seeing how big he was, like if I want to work out and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I play that song in my head, dude, and I get it in. I'm like.
Yeah, that's another thing we didn't touch on too. Is like the soundtrack is so awesome.
Oh yeah,
like,
you have it?
Yes,
I have it too.
I have for all three of them.
Yeah, me too.
It's like Hans Zimmer is just like so incredible.
He's a genius composer, dude. He's a genius. Like the first one's good. Like you said, all of them are really good. But I have my favorite songs in.
Definitely.
The fact that it's classical music, like it's an original score piece.
Yeah. It's so impeccable. I'm like if what he did with that, and then he did it with Man of Steel as well. Like Man of Steel soundtrack, is awesome. Regardless of how you feel about that movie, that soundtrack is terrific.
Yep. Well, and I feel like you could turn on that music, and let's say you're listening to like one of the songs on Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is from Batman. And you still haven't even seen the film.
Yes, exactly. Is this
Batman?
Yes.
You know, same with the Man of Steel. You know, you can turn on the little horn piece or whatever. Superman, right there.
Yeah, he did such a good job. Like, and in Dark Knight, like it creates so much tension. Like in the boat scene, and like with Two-Face and Gordon's family. Yeah. Like, it just creates so much tension throughout that movie. It was so expertly done.
He was able to evoke a lot of emotions with his music, which I thought was, at least for me, which I thought was really cool. But I do have a question for you. So you might have to go and research this.
Yeah.
Because I have this theory, right? That, okay, so you know the music from the animated series, the Two-Face episodes?
Yeah.
Has like the flute or whatever, and he's playing his music. Yeah. And he's trying to fight off Two-Face and everything. I feel like Hans Zimmer took some of the like notes or like the structure of the song from when Two-Face is in the abandoned house with Gordon and his family, and kind of brought it into that song for that scene. So I'm gonna give you the song title.
Yeah.
And I'll give you both the song titles, and then I'll send them to you.
Okay.
And if you guys want to get on this too, definitely look it up. But I feel like that Hans Zimmer took a piece of the animated series episode music for the Two-Face episodes, and put it into that scene where he has Jim Gordon's family in the abandoned house, and is going to choose which one he wants to kill. So that's just something we'll table that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but like, yeah, it was so good. I've never seen a movie and the soundtrack match so perfectly that goes with the ebb and flows of the scene and just the movie in the whole so well. Like, it's just like perfect.
Yeah, like the bike scene, bank robbery.
Yes.
When he's talking to all the mob bosses.
Yeah.
After Rachel dies and he's standing on top of the rubble, which is kind of disrespectful, dude. Your ex-girlfriend's under there. You're just standing on her grave like that. Like that was dirty. He's like, this is what you deserve.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like through and through. Oh, and another thing, I just have to put this in real quick. That whole bike scene is one of the best scenes ever. It's the best action scene I think I've seen in a movie. Like, start to finish, like with no music too. Like from the Joker, just like being the perfect Joker, right. And like Batman just trying to chase him down, and like, then the Batmobile getting exploded, and then going into the bike. It's just like, I don't know, that scene. Yeah. Like, every time I watch that scene, I just smile.
Well, know? It's just like, it's almost like, he's prepared for any situation. So he had an anti-contingency plan for, a contingency plan.
Yeah.
If my car blows up, then I'll just turn it into a bike.
Yeah.
You know, but then, like you said, he's just so determined. He doesn't have a computer to talk to him and tell him what's wrong with the Batmobile anymore. He's just able to, all right, I got to do this. And he just does it.
Yeah.
And he's chasing him down. The Joker is shooting RPGs and stuff. You know, like, it's really cool. And then he goes to run him over.
Yeah.
And he can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. That was
he won't do it.
That was a great scene because Joker's standing on the middle of the road. He's like, "Do it, do it. I want you to do it." Yeah, he just doesn't. It's so good. And then they have the awesome scene where like he threads between the semi and then it flips over the semi. And I was like, I was so sick. And my wife was like, every movie since then has like tried to copy that scene.
Yeah.
And I was like, we watched a bunch of movies like since then. I'm like, this does happen a lot. Yeah. A lot of people have tried to copy this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that movie was a trendsetter for a lot of movie genres and just scenes in general. You know, like, I don't know, dude. Like, especially games. Like, have you ever played Just Cause?
I played a little bit of it.
He has a grapple, dude.
He does.
And I'm like, Batman.
Yeah.
Or you have, like, the Green Arrow series on TV. He's trying to be Batman.
Oh, 100% he's trying to be
Batman.
He wishes he was Batman.
Yeah, because you have a Gotham show about early Batman days,
yeah.
And you have the Batman movies. But Batman doesn't need a TV show because he makes movies. Like, just be the Green Arrow, man. Be Oliver Queen, who's just a pompous asshole and jokes around about everything and never takes it seriously. Don't be, oh yeah, I was stranded on an island. 5 years. Nobody cares, man.
No, not at all.
You're back now, so shut up. Not that I hate that show. There's elements of the show that I'm like, this is pretty cool, but I mean, you have Ra's al Ghul and you say Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
The animated series says Ra's al Ghul too, though.
Yeah.
But you guys just say it weird. and then maybe I should just table this for like the shows that we don't like. We can just roast them, the rest. But don't steal Batman's villains. All right, if you're gonna steal Batman's villains, be in the Batman show. Yeah,
like they stole Rage. They told Deathstroke. There was somebody else in there. Oh, Firefly.
Even Prometheus.
Yeah, Prometheus. Like, yeah. Stop stealing Batman villains. But anyways. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah.
But that show's definitely, I guess it's going out to select theaters now because it's the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be at the District, though, the Megaplex.
I don't know either, but if it is, I want to go see it.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be fun. Especially because I haven't seen it in theaters. I had to wait. Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, it's so good. All right, cool. Don't tell me about it. I just put my headphones in.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. I wouldn't talk to anybody because that's all anybody talked about. You know? Which is cool, but not if I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So, but it'd be cool to see it in theaters for sure. So definitely be on the lookout to see if you guys are able to see it and let us know how you liked it in theaters for the 10th year in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, well, not 10th year in a row. But.
We'll spin off for 2
years. Yeah. You probably watched it once at least every year. So
yeah, I probably have. Well, that does it for this episode of Free Cake. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and we have a website, freecakecast.wordpress.com. We are also featured in I Am Salt Lake blog, so please check that out and like and all that, and
share with your friends. Tell your mom.
Yes. Oh, and we have a Patreon now. So if you like what we do, you can support us financially. So we have like a $1 tier and a $5 tier. So just go there, check it out. If you feel inclined, donate some money.
There you go.
And then on the podcast, just try to subscribe to them, leave reviews and all that. That helps out a lot. Mm-hmm. And so with YouTube as well. So if you like it and leave comments and stuff, all that stuff helps out a whole bunch.